G'day and welcome to Gold Derby's live coverage of the Creative Arts Emmy Awards Part 2. I'm Matt Noble. Last night was a big night at the Creative Arts Emmys. Game of Thrones took out 7. A bunch of other shows took out 3 or 4. And tonight we're going to be focused on variety series, nonfiction series, reality series, and see which ones of those can get an impressive total. To start off the evening, I'm joined by Amanda, Charlie, and Tony. Amanda, what are you most looking forward to tonight?
Just hoping that some pictures become clearer and to see if Pasek and Paul do pull off their EGOT. I think they're the most vulnerable of the 5.
Yes, so the EGOT is winning the Emmy, the Oscar, the Tony, and the Grammy, the top award that can be won in the American film industry, TV industry, music industry, and theater industry. And so who could get an EGOT tonight? There are quite a few people lined up for it, aren't there?
Yeah, what do we have? Let's see, John Legend,
Andrew
Pasek and Paul, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Tim Rice. So we could potentially have 5 EGOTs. I'm going to have to update that gallery too.
Yeah, so there you go. So history could be made tonight. It's a very small group of people that have won all 4 of those awards, so that's pretty cool. Charles,
it's currently 12. It could go up to 17 tonight.
Whoa, so that's huge. Charles, what are your thoughts for tonight?
I'm hoping maybe we can get a clearer picture of a reality competition program. That one has been toying with me for a while after being burned last year, as I know a lot of us were predicting RuPaul's Drag Race instead of The Voice. So maybe that'll become clearer tonight. But also I'm interested to see what's going to take home some of these nonfiction awards. See maybe if Anthony Bourdain could possibly win a posthumous Emmy tonight as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, Parts Unknown is up for quite a few awards tonight, so we'll see how many that can rack up. First category coming up is quite a big one, variety series writing and variety series directing. So let's crack open those nominees and have a bit of a talk through them here. Do any of you have that in front of you?
Got them right here.
Great. Charles, going to read out the writing category?
Writing for a variety series nominees are the teams from Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, Late Night with Seth Meyers, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, and who do we think could win that one, guys? John Oliver has won variety series the past couple of years. He shows the hot front runner to win that again. Does he have writing in the bag?
Yeah, I would say so. If SNL was going to pose a threat, they would have won last year. So I think it's John Oliver.
Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, it seems just like the same thing. This is a category that but every so often it will just go in a completely weird direction. Like after years of The Daily Show winning for years, we had Late Night with Conan O'Brien win in 2007 out of nowhere. And the following year, Colbert Report, before I believe it went back to The Daily Show.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like this sometimes the writing like I don't think Saturday Night Live can win this. I feel like that's viewed as more as a directorial achievement than a writing achievement, or even a performing achievement where they perform them live. So I think actors and directors do well at SNL, but not the writers. I think if you see an upset here, it will be someone like Stephen Colbert or Samantha Bee.
I was thinking possibly Seth Meyers.
Or Seth Meyers, because I think the industry would view them as writers' shows. Tony, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, it's a shame. I've always felt it's a shame that SNL doesn't get more credit here, because it has to come up with 90 minutes, a 90-minute show every week, and whereas a lot of these other shows are half-hour shows, and of course SNL can be kind of hit and miss, but when they hit really, really big. But I don't see any reason to not say John Oliver on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Do you think that's possible? Do you think that's possible? Just spitballing here. Do you think that's possible because at least in this field for SNL, it's always going to feel like it's being compared to the past seasons?
Well, it hasn't won since 2002 when Tina Fey was the head writer, so they've been on a pretty long streak.
Well, I mean, yeah, since then they've always been sort of judged based on it's not as good as it was, or that sort of mindset. I mean,
that's a possibility, but I think John Oliver rarely misses, and that might also take into account. And if you don't like every sketch in the SNL submission, but you like the tight 30 minutes that John Oliver provides, it's just an easier pickup for them.
Yeah, like the one thing in SNL's favor is it is sort of the thing that's different in the category. It's the one that probably is it's got a point of differentiation from shows that are a lot more talking based here. So that's something that's gone in its corner. But I do think looking at the nominees, it'll probably be John Oliver. But you could see one of those other guys or girls in terms of Samantha Bee upset here because sometimes, as Charles said, the writers do go different to where it's going for series, as we saw with Conan O'Brien or with Stephen Colbert those years ago. So do you want to, Charles, read out the director nominees for Variety?
Absolutely. For directing for a variety series, we have Andre Allen for Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, Paul Penolino for Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, Tim Mancinelli for The Late Late Show with James Corden, Jim Hoskinson for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Carrie Brownstein for Portlandia, and Don Roy King for Saturday Night Live.
I feel like this is where Saturday Night Live does have the edge. The fact that they do it live, I think, is seen as more of a directorial accomplishment. But it's a pretty crowded field. I think this is also where James Corden is probably more likely to get some respect than he didn't get nominated in the writing category, but here he's in the directing category, his show.
But he's not, and he's usually the thing that usually wins.
Yeah, well, that is true. But I do think he does segments that are a bit more directorially driven, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
let us keep in mind also that after last night, I believe James Corden now has 6 Emmys.
Yeah. He's so the Academy does like what he's doing in a lot of areas. But I do think Saturday Night Live's to lose here. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, Amanda, maybe how many has SNL won here?
This is their best category. I don't have the stat on top of me at the moment, but this is definitely a category they win a lot. And it's one of the reasons why, not to steer the conversation in the wrong way, that I think Jesus Christ Superstar Live might win Best Directing on the Limited Series movie side, just because it is live. And that it does seem to be the one thing that always sets SNL apart from the other nominees. It's not pre-taped. Right. They don't yell cut.
Being live is a huge advantage. Being live is a huge advantage in these directing categories. So keep an eye out for SNL to win there.
And this is the one where the most of anything would win. So the fact that it's 90 minutes is more advantageous here than it is in writing, because they care more about that in director.
Would say lovely to see Carrie Brownstein pop in for Portlandia. Not something
I love that nomination. I love it.
She's been so great on that show. She's if you didn't know, the lead actress on Portlandia as well. And it was the final season of the show. And it would be really, I'd love her to pull out a win here. I think that'd be a really nice win. But I think it's going to be hard competing against a 90 minutes Saturday Night Live live episode. And maybe I'd say even Portlandia would have a better chance of upsetting in the variety sketch series category than it would upsetting here, just because sort of similar to Key and Peele, it was able to win in its last season.
Well, Key and Peele got a SAG Award nomination for Best Ensemble, so Portlandia didn't, so I don't think SNL has any reason to be worried.
I think I'd be a little worried in the sense that I think Portlandia has done consistently better with nominations than Key and Peele had necessarily at the Emmys. Like, it's gotten the directing this year, it got in the writing a couple of years ago. Fred Armisen got an acting nomination, as Keegan did. Like, they're both well, maybe not more so, but they're both shows that have popped up in other categories at the Emmys. So it shows that there's some sort of support. I'd say I would think if SNL loses to anyone in that category, it would be Portlandia for its final season. But SNL is the front runner.
We have some news from Chris Beecham.
Oh, great! Yeah,
saying that Jane Lynch, who I guess is sort of hosting or presenting here, she just talked extensively about the 5 possible EGOT winners and had them all stand up in the room, saying that so that the audience would know that it might happen tonight.
I mean, does Hollywood? I mean, Hollywood's not really good at calling attention to itself, so I don't really think that was necessary.
So no, that was.
Congratulations! Last week tonight with John Oliver, Best Variety Writing. At least that's 2 years in a row.
Last week tonight with its first Emmy win of the year, and it's nominated for quite a few. So the Last Week Tonight total could, if they win a lot of things, could do quite well. So we've talked variety series writing, variety series directing, and that's followed up by another variety series category, lighting direction or lighting design for a variety series. Would one of you like to read out the nominees for that?
Does anybody have them? I'm trying to find them.
I can get them.
Yeah, outstanding lighting design for a lighting direction for a variety series. The nominees are America's Got Talent, Dancing with the Stars, Saturday Night Live, So You Think You Can Dance, and The Voice.
What do we think, guys?
I'll give it to SNL.
Yeah.
Does Dancing with the Stars have a track record in this category, or am I getting that confused with technical direction?
I think it might be technical direction.
Okay.
God, dude, that could go any number of ways. I could see The Voice winning that too.
Yeah. I think like the advantage that Saturday Night Live has with the line design thing is they build sort of
and
different
we got
sets. Yeah.
No upset in directing. Don Roy King wins again for variety directing.
Which will put Saturday Night Live on our board because they won an acting award last night at the Creative Arts. So I have a board of where we keep a track of any show that has won more than one Emmy at the awards for the year. This is where we're standing at the moment. Game of Thrones out on top on 7. Versace on 4 wins. Then we've got a whole crowd of shows all on 3: Atlanta, The Crown, Westworld, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, The Handmaid's Tale, Black Mirror, and then another crop on 2 with Picasso, the Genius Picasso thing, Glow, James Corden's next James Corden with James Corden, and Will and Grace, all sitting on 2. Saturday Night Live has moved up to 2 now, so we'll put that on our board and the Gold Derby board tally of Emmys for the year. Right. So, so lighting design, were there any more thoughts on that one? Who might take that out?
I could literally see that going to at least 3 of the possible nominees. I mean, Saturday Night Live is probably the best, probably the easiest choice, but you know, the question is, are they going to go for?
And congrats to Saturday Night Live for best variety lighting design. I couldn't tell what the GIF was. Way to go, Marcus! You stumped me. I'm like, what is that?
Classic.
Oh, it's Kristen Wiig. That's what surprised me. What? So I have the nominees for Outstanding Writing Nonfiction Program. Do you want me to
read it out, Amanda? Because that category might be coming at us pretty quickly.
So we've got Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, The Defiant Ones, Oscar winner Icarus, Jane, Mr. Rogers, It's You I Like, and the Vietnam War from PBS.
Yeah. I think, like, look, Parts Unknown for Anthony Bourdain has a great chance of winning this, I would say. But boy, Icarus won the Oscar for Best Documentary Film. Jane Goodall's got a lot of love. This is a race.
The
We did
Defiant
see
Ones.
OJ stumble last year. They didn't have the best of Emmys after winning that Oscar.
Yeah. So there you go.
The Defiant Ones won a Grammy earlier this year for Best Music Film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does anyone like? I would go with Parts Unknown, but what do you guys think? Who's going to take this out?
When I think of writing, Anthony Bourdain, has won this award before, and he is a writer first and foremost. As much as he was a chef, he was known as a writer. So I think that combined with the sentimental factor will certainly put him ahead.
Yeah. And just having updated the board, Saturday Night Live now sitting on 3 with the writing directing win. And I don't think Saturday Night Live is done for the night. Expect to see that racing up as categories come in tonight.
The question is, do they break their record from last year? I mean, they would have to get to 11 Emmys, and that might not be possible this year since they've already lost Guest Actor.
Yes. So can they beat last year's record? They are eligible for some Emmys at next week's ceremony as well. Variety series, supporting actress, supporting actor in a comedy series. So they are not done. So they don't need to reach 11 tonight to break that record.
They'd have to get to 8.
They need to get to 8, and you'd think they might not win all 3 of their awards next week. So they might need to get even to 9 or 10 tonight. But yes, they need at least 8 tonight. They need to take over Game of Thrones if they want a shot at beating their record. After nonfiction writing, we have nonfiction picture editing. What are the nominees there?
I have those. Those are Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, The Defiant Ones, Jane, Wild Wild Country, and the Zen that could go a number of different ways. Wild Wild Country was certainly a cultural phenomenon this year. And so there's certainly some love for that. They could go with Gary Shandling. I mean,
I would also think of Jane because you have a lot of that archival footage. That was like 125 hours, I think. It was an immense amount that they had to go through to put that all together. So I think Jane would actually stand a really good chance of that.
Yeah, it's Amanda, do you have any thoughts?
I wonder if the archival footage will actually hurt Jane because they're not. I just worry about that overall. I know that's why some people felt it was left out of possibly the documentary category at the Oscars. So we'll see how that affects it throughout the evening. But it's kind of a hard one to call.
Yeah. And after that category, we've got nonfiction cinematography coming through. Does someone read the nominees for that? Do you have them in front of you, Charles?
Yep, I got those. So we have Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, for the Lagos episode, Blue Planet 2 for The Deep, Blue Planet 2 again for One Ocean, Chef's Table for Corrado Ascenza, and Jane. And the actual filmmaker of that old footage is posthumously nominated here for the archival photography.
Again, since they weren't involved in the documentary, it might be interesting to see whether or not that would exclude it from recognition.
Yeah.
Well, it's primarily the whole documentary is the footage he shot. So it would actually kind of make sense, and really it's testament to the editing because they were able to piece it together to kind of form basically a narrative story.
Yeah, you're right. With editing, that might be an easier one for them, but these are some tough categories.
Yeah. Yeah, I like, you'd think the Blue Planet would win this category, but the fact that it's got 2 nominations could mean it splits the vote, but I'd still give it the edge, to be honest.
Can I read the next one? Because it's one of my favorites.
I would love you to, Amanda.
Oh, congratulations to Bourdain for winning Best Nonfiction Writing also.
That's his first win of the year at the Emmy Awards in that series. So I wouldn't be surprised if that show has a very good night.
Yes. So the next one is Outstanding Costumes for a Variety, Nonfiction, or Reality Program, and this is definitely just a catch-all category. We have Dancing with the Stars, Jesus Christ Superstar Live in Concert, RuPaul's Drag Race, SNL, and Tracy Ullman's show. And I would say that Jesus Christ Superstar Live is going to start making their presence known.
Yes.
It was a very stylized version, and I think that with SNL and Jesus Christ Superstar going against one another, NBC is going to have they're going to have bragging rights amongst the top 4 networks by the time this is over.
Yeah, I do think RuPaul's Drag Race does have still a good chance of taking out this category, though, I'd say. Like, I think Jesus Christ is in the... I'm not saying necessarily it will win, but I'm saying if you got Jesus Christ, you got RuPaul, I'd put those 2 shows out in front. And I'd probably give...
And the fact that, maybe the fact that both Jesus Christ Superstar and Saturday Night Live were live productions, those could split in some way.
Yeah. And I think the being live doesn't help with costumes, in a sense.
No.
So like it does, like there are categories like with direction, with maybe cinematography and stuff, where they go like, oh boy, to do that live was super impressive, but it doesn't, like, costumes, even though there probably were costume changes and things that may have happened at various times, and like I'm sure there is a different considerations you have to do when you're designing costumes for a live production of something.
And Dancing with the Stars is also live, so I don't think that will
so the
help.
live thing isn't going to help Jesus.
Not in the costume category. Maybe in lighting design or something, but maybe not.
Yeah, lighting, direction, all that sort of stuff. It helps. So this could be RuPaul has very flamboyant costumes, so I think that's in the thick of it there. Do we have a new? I'm just keeping an eye because we've got Chris Boomer Beecham at the Emmys, and Marcus I think is there too. I think I'm hard to keep track of who's on the scene and who's in the offices and all that sort of thing. But we are getting winners tweeted to us from the ceremony. These awards are televised live, so this is the place to be. Gold Derby's live web show to hear the winners announced. It's the only place where this happens anywhere online or on TV. And you can also follow all our Emmys coverage at goldderby.com. Follow us on Twitter at goldderby. We are the leading website in Emmys coverage and entertainment awards coverage in general, with the Creative Arts Awards happening now and with the big Emmy show happening next week. This is the place to be, goldderby.com. So is there a category that you guys are particularly excited about tonight? Charles?
Best song.
Oh, sorry, Amanda. Best song. Why best song?
Because I think it on paper looks like it should be Pasek and Paul, but I think Chance is gonna pull it out for Comeback Obama.
Yeah, I think
he's gonna win. Yeah, I think their Pasek and Paul are probably gonna be a little upset that they were dragged on stage as potential EGOT winners when it doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I think like it does, like that song is funny, it's good, Bring Back Obama. It's
relevant.
But it also just, I think, hits the sensibilities of where the Academy's heads are going to be at.
Yeah, and I just found the Pasek Paul one a little sappy, personally. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I should have listened to it at Christmas time.
That was the one for Christmas Story, right?
Yeah. Which was there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do we have a winner?
Oh, yes.
Nonfiction picture editing. Nonfiction picture editing.
Nonfiction picture editing goes to Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown.
So no, I thought this show would have a good night. Obviously, with the passing of Anthony Bourdain this year, it probably brings some attention, and people know it's the last chance to award this show. But regardless, this show could have done well anyway, because Parts Unknown did very well at the Emmys the past couple of years. So we know it's a show they have liked in the past. So I will get that.
That's 2 for them.
2 for them. I'm going to put them on the big board while we go through the nominees for lighting design for Variety Special.
I have those. Those are the 60th Annual Grammy Awards, Jesus Christ Superstar Live, the Oscars, the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake, and the 71st Tony Awards.
What do you think, Charles?
I think the Oscars could possibly. Well, I forgot about Jesus Christ Superstar there for a second, so I think I'm going to go with that one. So possibly the halftime show. But that was. Go to someone who knows what they're talking about.
Amanda.
I think Jesus Christ Superstar is going to stop a lot of these award shows from picking up their normal haul. So I would go with Jesus Christ Superstar. It's the hot one in the show. It's the hot one in the group. It's the most buzzed about. So why not?
Yeah, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, the final image of Jesus Christ Superstar is John Legend going up in just this wall of light. Just that alone, that image, will certainly carry its weight. But I would not discount something like the halftime show. That one directing, I think it was last year, the year before. What year did Lady Gaga? Was that last year?
I don't watch football, so I don't.
I know we're awards nuts and we're asking about football games, but
well, I would usually know that, but it was last year.
Okay.
Yeah, the Super Bowl has done quite well in the past couple of years at winning awards.
All right.
Oh,
Jane wins cinematography.
James won cinematography. Big win for Jane. And another posthumous win.
Yeah, another posthumous win to the cinematographer, who also was Jane Goodall's first husband. Mm-hmm. And also, what's also interesting about the cinematography from it is that the footage was 16 millimeter, and so it was. Oh, I'm sorry, did I break up there?
Yes, for a second.
It's 16 millimeter, and they were able to, just do it with all that. They were able to have this footage with all this natural lighting. So it's really quite something astonishing that they were able to do there.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, so very good. Yeah, no, so that's a great win for Jane. Very good. We've got Parts Unknown. Where are they? Parts Unknown on 2 wins on the Big Emmy board. Chasing probably and tonight we might see at the moment look like maybe it's going to be Parts Unknown, SNL sort of racing up that scoreboard, but we'll see. I think Jesus Christ Superstar could start making a tilt at the board as well as its categories start coming in. So
we're waiting on Costumes, and then lighting design.
RuPaul Drag Race won Best Costumes.
Well, they might. So there you go. RuPaul, who won quite a few Emmys last year, that series. So maybe again this year it'll win a couple, putting it maybe in good stead for that reality series, the host and the reality series categories later on. Yes, so we've got it's Big Emmy night. We're seeing some great nonfiction reality variety series all competing. John Oliver already has a win. Anthony Bourdain already has a win. It's all happening here. What category have we talked about? Have we talked about variety picture editing yet? Would someone like to go through those nominees?
I got them. We have Carpool Karaoke Primetime Special 2018. Dave Chappelle for his Netflix special Equanimity. Drunk History for the episode Heroines. Full Frontal with Samantha Bee presents The Great American Puerto Rico. Asterisk gets complicated. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver for Wax President Harding segment. And Last Week Tonight with John Oliver for their Border Patrol segment.
And congratulations to Jesus Christ Superstar for winning Best Lighting Design.
So it's on the board. A category where being live helps a lot. So really good.
God, for that one. Oh, man. Can I just say how much I love Drunk History? That
Drunk History is great.
Yeah. No,
and
the
Wax President Harding bit from Last Week Tonight was really good too.
Yeah. Like, look, to be honest, like I could see Drunk History pulling off a win here. Like, when you think about like what would be seen as quite a strength of that show, it would be the picture editing. They're editing together the narration with the reenactments, and they've got to line up the mouthing, the speaking, the narration with the.
I think they overcame vote splitting last year too with this category.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I have the production design ones up if you want those next.
Yeah, let's go through them.
So there's the next two are production design. So the first one is Outstanding Production Design for Variety, Nonfiction, Reality, or Reality Competition Series. And the nominees are Bill Nye Saves the World, Dancing with the Stars, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, Saturday Night Live, and The Voice. And then next is production design for a variety, nonfiction, event, or award special. So you have the Carol Burnett 50th Anniversary Special, the 75th Annual Golden Globe Awards, the 60th Annual Grammys, Jesus Christ Superstar Live in Concert, and the Oscars.
Yep. What do we think, Tony?
I probably think SNL for variety and Jesus Christ Superstar for special.
Yeah, I don't really think of Dancing with the Stars as for production design. They have to build sets every week, at least on SNL.
Yeah. Like, yeah, no, I think they're like two good front runners in those categories. Charles, you want to weigh in at all?
I basically concur. There. Yeah, I think Saturday Night Live is probably out front there, and the series and special. I can't imagine the Golden Globes winning. I just, it's like
their set is the same every year. How are they even nominated?
And yeah, I mean, I think the only one I could possibly see is the Oscars.
Last Week Tonight with John Oliver wins Best Variety Picture Editing.
Does it say which one?
Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol.
So there you go. So
that's 2 for them. They're on the board.
2 for John Oliver. I'll get it out. But yeah, no. So really, and just him winning these sorts of awards, like writing, obviously, but also when you see something like picture editing, just adds weight to the idea that he is on track to win his 3rd straight variety series award next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny because when you think of John Oliver's show, you don't necessarily think of, something like editing, since
no.
for most of the show, it's just a straight to camera on him.
Yeah.
So the fact that he still comes in and wins awards like that says, yeah, Daily Show number 2.
Yeah, they love this show. And it's a very good one. I see why. So, Charles, we talked about a category Amanda's particularly looking forward to later in the night. What's one that you are particularly looking forward to later tonight? I'm particularly interested in.
I'm always interested with the nonfiction categories because that's one where they will spread the wealth in the weirdest ways possible. So I'm always just looking to see is there going to be just all over the place? Is there going to be one show that dominates and then you just have like one weird outlier?
And we have another winner.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Amanda.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
It's Saturday Night Live.
It's SNL, yeah.
So Saturday Night Live has won. Can we have, what is the category Saturday Night Live has won it for?
It was variety production design.
Production design. It makes sense. Deserving winner there. Saturday Night Live moving up to 4 Emmy wins for it. So that's one of the few shows Saturday Night Live that competes at all 3 evenings of the Creative Arts Emmy of the Emmy Awards. So it was nominated last night in some of the acting categories, nominated tonight in a lot of the categories, and then next week is nominated in some of the acting and variety series category. And there's not many shows that are all 3, and also shows that have a chance of winning sort of multiple Emmys at all 3 evenings.
And now
I have the choreography nominees if you want those. This is one of my favorite categories.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one.
I love Mandy Moore, and yes, she did retweet my story, so that has something to do with it from a year ago. Chloe Arnold for the Late Show with James Corden. Travis Wall for So You Think You Could Dance. Mandy Moore for So You Think You Can Dance. Al Blackstone also for So You Think You Can Dance. And Christopher Scott for So You Think You Can Dance. And this is one where they do have to watch the episodes. So vote splitting is not a factor. But Mandy Moore finally, after La La Land last year, won her first Emmy.
And this is not Mandy Moore from This Is Us.
No, but I did hear that the Mandy Moore, she gets an email every year congratulating her on an Emmy nomination. She didn't get it. So it's probably been a little bit more painful the past 2 years than it was previously when she was not on television.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
So who do you think wins this one, Amanda? So it's one of your favorites?
I would like to see Mandy Moore win again. I thought her routines are lovely. And this is one, if you are interested in seeing one of the winners, and it's from So You Think You Can Dance, all you have to do is type in the choreographer's name in YouTube and Emmy submission 2018, and they will pop right up for you. So if you're just curious to see how you win a choreography Emmy, it's kind of nice that So You Think You Can Dance does this.
Yeah. Tony?
I've seen 2 of these. I saw the one on the Late Late Show, and I saw Travis Wall's, and Travis Wall's was just stunning. Kind of take your breath away. Jesus Christ Superstar wins production design for a variety special.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe, its 2nd win, correct?
Yes.
I thought they were at, sounds right.
There we go. Great. Really good. Charles, do you want to weigh in on the choreography at all?
No.
No.
Not his category?
Nope.
And by the way, can we just give a shout out to Marcus James Dixon, who, if you're following the results coming in on Gold Derby's Twitter account, his gifs that he puts in there, or gifs, however you choose to say it, are absolutely hilarious. It's worth the price of admission just on its own.
Yes. No, very much so. So that is at Gold Derby is the handle to find those gifts. Yeah. And go to also Chris is announcing the winners of the Gold Derby forums. If you want to go to our chat forums, you can chip in with your own thoughts and things as Chris is announcing them there. So there's plenty of ways at Gold Derby. You got the web show with us, you got Twitter with Marcus, you got the forums with Chris. There's multiple ways for you to choose to find out about these winners with Gold Derby, and we're gonna whack Jesus Christ Superstar up with 2 Emmy wins there with last week tonight. And Saturday Night Live moved up to 4 Emmys. It's tied with the Versace series. Yep.
Yeah, but good for NBC for sticking with doing these live musicals until they finally kind of got it right. And hopefully they'll continue, because at least they're trying something that the other networks have been less successful with. And it's a good way to stay relevant, because you know what? They have more Emmy nominations than CBS or ABC or Fox. So you got to give it to them for continually trying, and for also keeping a show like The Good Place on when they could cancel it. And it's paid off for them.
Yeah, and picking up Brooklyn Nine-Nine after Fox cancelled it. Like, they're making some good decisions at ABC in terms of the entertainment division, at least. It's really like, and this Jesus Christ Superstar, these live productions, particularly with awards, they've found a niche that they're sort of doing that no one else is. And because of that, they're able to get a lot of award nominations. And when it's a big hit like Jesus Christ Superstar, pick up a lot of wins. And as you say, Amanda, they're going to be the leading network in terms of Emmy wins this year. Yes.
Good news. Mandy Moore wins Best Choreography. For So You Think
Yay!
You Can
And
Dance.
she didn't tie this year, so now she has 1.5.
That's true. She did tie.
Yeah, ties count. It's a full Emmy if you tie. You both get a full award. There's no sawing it in half or anything like that.
Well, her Twitter handle is nope, not her. So you gotta like appreciate the fact that, you know, she's in on the joke. So
that's fantastic.
So the next category is one that I'm actually kind of looking forward to. It's a short form variety series. Those nominees are Between the Scenes of The Daily Show, Carpool Karaoke the series, Creating Saturday Night Live, Game of Thrones, Honest Trailers, and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon Cover Room. And just for sheer hilarity factor, I really want Game of Thrones to win this, because one of the nominees is Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye, and so he actually could. He's the only one of the Queer Eyes that has basically 2 Emmy nominations tonight.
However, is there any way that Carpool Karaoke doesn't win this thing?
No,
I think Carpool Karaoke is just too popular. I mean, it's probably got next year locked up because it had like Paul McCartney,
and
that was left.
It won.
The winner is Carpool Karaoke.
And I have the nominees for Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Variety Special Series or Special.
Hit us up.
The 60th Annual Grammy Awards, Jesus Christ Superstar Live in Concert, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, not going to win this one, the Oscars, and The Voice. And I'm going to go with Superstar Live. I think they'll upset the usual Grammys. This is usually where the Grammys or the Tonys would win this.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
And the Tonys kind of held back from putting themselves in any of these categories.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good prediction. I'd probably go with that too.
Yeah, and that particular Tony Awards, correct me if I'm wrong, because they're always a year behind, because the Tonys usually air after the cutoff.
It was the Kevin Spacey, yeah. So I mean, that was a dumpster fire before his previous his actions before. Yeah, that was going to have problems before what he's been up to came to light.
And just with the Carpool Karaoke.
Oh, Carpool Karaoke wins best short form.
Yep, there you go. And with
that.
Oh, sorry.
But I was going to say, with that Carpool Karaoke win, as Chris has said in the forums, that is James Corden's 7th Emmy win in 3 years.
So let's just clarify here. We have James Corden 7 Emmys, Steve Carell 0.
Yeah.
Although I don't think James Corden. Oh yeah, he does win that one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's a producer.
Yeah, he's one of the executive producers.
Yeah. So James Corden, 7 Emmys in 3 years. They love him. I spoke with James Corden this year for Gold Derby, so you're welcome, James, for helping you with the campaign. But seriously, he was doing interviews with Gold Derby, I think, like for the past 3 or 4 years. And we really he started reaching out, and we started talking with him, helping get him some attention in that industry before that 7 Emmy streak he's gone on. And I wonder if it's a question of, do they love James Corden, or does he just make so many different shows that can get into so many different categories that he's picking up a lot of Emmy awards? Probably a bit of both.
Possibly, I think also with something like, you know, the short form series that he won 2 for last night. You got to think that, you know, because his name is on it, that ended up that provided a good amount of votes.
Yeah.
Sound mixing goes to Jesus Christ Superstar.
Do we talk about the nominees for sound mixing?
Yeah, I read them off.
Great, perfect. So sound mixing. So Jesus Christ Superstar. We can move that up on the board. Oh no, it's pretty crowded, the 3 area.
Yeah.
There we go. Jesus Christ Superstar. Up to 3 Emmy wins. It's in that crowded field with Handmaid's Tale, Westworld, and The Crown. Don't worry for the board being too crowded, because I feel like it's going to be moving up a couple more tonight.
Well, and this next category will be really interesting because you have 2 biggies facing off, which is technical direction for a limited series movie or special. And we have Carpool Karaoke Primetime Special, Jesus Christ Superstar, the Oscars, the 2018 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake. So
that could go Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so, with Carpool Karaoke being the wild card.
Although shame on Marcus for having to the gif he put up for Carpool Karaoke winning is Corden and Bieber.
And technical direction goes to Jesus Christ Superstar. So they are at what, 3 or 4 now?
They are, I believe, let's consult the board, Amanda. I believe they are now up to 4 wins.
Oh, SNL, you better win another award soon.
There you go. So SNL and Jesus Christ Superstar are tying on the Gold Derby Emmy tally board at 4 wins apiece, tying with American Crime Story Versace.
That's more than CBS or ABC have, so.
Yeah, like they're both NBC shows. So
yeah.
NBC has won 8. I can't believe I need to look at the 4 to work out what 4 times 2 was. But anyway, they are on 8 Emmys, NBC tonight. I don't think none of the others were NBC shows, have they? Just trying to think. I don't think so.
Well, this next category is, I think, really, really interesting. It's outstanding documentary or nonfiction special.
Yeah.
And you've got some real heavy hitters in this one. You've got Icarus, which won the Oscar. Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, featuring a very special contractually obligated mention of Tony Clifton. That's the full title.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, It's You I Like, Spielberg, and The Zen Diaries of Gary Shandling. Where do you even go here? Do you take the easy route and go with Icarus since it won at the Oscars?
I would love if Jim and Andy won, because then Tony Clifton would have an Emmy.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Amanda, do you have a thought on who might take that out?
No, I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen any of them.
I caught the Mr. Rogers one during a PBS telethon drive, and I couldn't reach the remote. And but it was good. It was pretty good. But I will say, you know, the one in theaters now is kind of spoils it.
I'm probably like the only kid who never watched Mr. Rogers because my mother wouldn't allow it. So.
Well, yeah, I want to wait. Let's delve into this.
Why wouldn't your mum allow Mr. Rogers, Amanda?
She thought he was weird.
Okay.
I don't know. She did not think he was appropriate for children. I don't know.
Yeah. like growing up in Australia, we didn't really have Mr. Rogers here, and I don't even know what time period he is, but there's a lot of affection for that guy. So
isn't Tom Hanks going to play him in a movie? I thought I read that.
I think
Tom Hanks is going to play him. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be my first exposure to Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, so
watch the documentary. I mean, Mr. Rogers was such an integral part of my childhood.
Yeah, I don't have any emotional attachment to watching him.
It was, oh God, just watching clips of Mr. Rogers, I'll start bawling because it was such a huge part of my, and he's experienced such a resurgence. I wonder actually if, people will just say, oh, Mr. Rogers' name is on the ballot.
Yeah, like I can see that.
They might not know it's not the Oscar, the documentary that's probably going to win the Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's if it gets nominated.
Yeah, watch that not happen.
Yeah, we've seen that.
The documentary branch never ceases to disappoint.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have Best Popular Documentary.
Yeah, so we've got the documentary nonfiction directing.
Oh, congratulations to the Zen Diaries for Best Documentary Nonfiction.
Oh, good for them.
Gary Shandling.
That's another Emmy for Judd Apatow and yet another one for Sheila Nevins.
Well, that explains why Judd Apatow was there.
There you go. So, directing for a documentary or nonfiction?
I got it. It's so we have the nominees are Icarus, Jane, the Episode 8, The His World, Wild Wild Country, Part 3, and the Zen Diaries of Gary Shandling.
Which now you might say could be in the mix after its last win.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible.
Why would they announce program before directing? Like, some of these don't make any sense. Sorry.
I'm sure there was a well thought through reason.
Chris Beecham would make an excellent consultant.
Ceremony.
They need a consultant who understands awards, because clearly, like, yeah, they were jumping all over the place last night too.
Yeah. Who do we like for the direction award?
I mean, it seems like the ones to keep the eye out for would be Jane and Zen Diaries, but I'd keep an eye on the Vietnam War because that one is co-directed by Ken Burns, and he is a favorite.
Yeah, no, that's a fair thought. Anything else we want to add to the mix?
Wild Wild Country was one of my absolute favorite things that I saw last year, so I'm always going to root for it. Especially, I mean, it touched such a chord. I mean, I have actual students that are planning to go dressed up as that cult for Halloween.
There you go. And it's interesting because after that category is the documentary nonfiction series race, where you have Wild Wild Country compete against The Fourth Estate, Defiant Ones, Blue Planet 2, and American Masters. So it's sort of interesting how we had the special where that went to the Zen Diaries, and then like we got the directing award, and now we've got the series race, which Wild Wild Country might win that. So it's really going to be interesting to see which way this sort of falls. Yeah. And it might provide tea leaves into which one's going to win the documentary nonfiction series that's coming next.
You can hope.
Yeah. What do you guys have a thought on who you think's going to win documentary nonfiction series? Tony, do you think that will be where Wild Wild Country can pick up a win?
I think that's where it would. Oh, we have a winner for directing. It is Brett Morgan for Jane.
All right.
Jane. So is that Jane's second win of the night?
That is Jane's second win of the night.
That is Jane's second win.
Get it on the board.
Well, at least that one was snubbed at the Oscars. So. Well,
I want to just, whenever we have someone who interviewed, they get to take a stroll down bragging lanes. So I'm going to do that since I interviewed Brett Morgan, and he was a fun interview, and I'm really glad that he got this recognition.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, so there you go. Very good. And Jane, yeah, it will be interesting if we ever get to point in time where they don't let you compete in the Oscars and the Emmys for the same.
Well, it's a real shame that Netflix didn't enter Mudbound, because that probably would have put a stop to it. Like HBO would have threw a fit. That probably would have stopped it, but Netflix was smart enough to not do it. So
yeah, so it will be interesting, and I can see a day where they won't allow. You'll have to pick one of the awards or the other that you want to compete in. If that's the case, it's very interesting because
yes. Wild Country, best documentary nonfiction. So that is Netflix's third series award, and if you haven't seen I Am a Killer, that's going to be a big contender for them next year.
There you go. There you go. And I was just saying, like, it would be interesting if they didn't, if they split that document, if you have to pick one of the awards, because for something like Jane, clearly the Emmys, it should compete. It's doing much better at the Emmys than it was able to do at the Oscars. But something like Icarus, the complete reverse. And you just don't know which, like, in hindsight, we know that, well, Jane should have gone in the Emmys and Icarus should have gone in the Oscars, but that's through hindsight. So
yeah, and it was HBO and Netflix that actually got the rules changed at the Oscars. So like a series documentary, like People versus OJ or OJ Made in America, couldn't be at the Oscars again.
Yeah,
because ESPN doesn't care, but Netflix and HBO knew if one of them submitted like The Jinx or Making a Murderer, the other's going to get the categories rules change. So
just an interesting thing about the win there for Wild Wild Country. One of the producers of that, or two of the producers, are the Duplass brothers. So they pick up a trophy for that. So that's good for them.
I love that documentary series. It's crazy.
Yeah, and look, this documentary nonfiction series race is becoming one of the best races. Where you look at the list of winners from the past few years, like where you got the Jinx and Making a Murderer, like those series are like just as good, and up at and Wild Country's in this category too, is just as good as the best drama series or comedy series. It's sort of like, and sometimes these series are just as talked about as I had more friends talking to me about Making a Murderer when that was out than probably shows like Veep or
And Making a Murderer has the distinction of being Netflix's first series to win a series award.
I think there should be
a big deal.
I think there should be some serious discussion about moving best nonfiction series to the main show.
I think every year they should just put one different series kind of program on the telecast just for like fun. Like when they had choreography that one time, and they were the most excited people in the room.
Oh, we have an upset here.
Ooh, big one.
Big upset. The category was exceptional merit in documentary filmmaking.
Can you Tony read out the nominees before the upset?
Yeah, those nominees were City of Ghosts, Jane, Strong Island, and What Haunts Us. And the winner, which we might have thought would have been Jane, was actually Strong Island.
Well, that was actually up at the Oscars.
That was up at the Oscars, and that was a film that that film just was crushing. It was a beautiful, beautiful film. So good for Yancey Ford.
Yancey Ford, yeah.
Love.
Yeah, there you go. And even more than I think an upset from the beginning of the night that would have been, but even more so considering Jane has already won 2 Emmys tonight.
But again, this is just one of those things that happens with the Emmys where it seems like there's a trend going on, and then out of nowhere, something will just completely come out of the blue.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The next category we've got is structured reality, which is quite. So I would so like to read out the nominees for structured reality.
Okay.
Yeah, those are. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh no, you go ahead, Tony.
Antiques Roadshow, Fixer Upper, Lip Sync Battle, Queer Eye, and Shark Tank.
I think is this Shark Tank? What? Sorry, Amanda?
As long as it's not Fixer Upper, I don't care.
Well, I think this has to be a Queer Eye versus Shark Tank.
Shark Tank's the three-time defending champion, 3 or 4-time defending champion, but I think Queer Eye's going to take it.
I've had so many friends that have gotten into Queer Eye.
It's funny they only won once for their original run on Bravo.
Yeah. So very good. What do we think? Do we think Queer Eye or Shark Tank? Who do we think's taking this out?
I think Queer Eye.
Yeah.
I mean, that show just. Yeah.
Did they do casting for reality last night? Because I don't remember who.
No.
Oh no, that's
they
later. Yeah. I think they're going to win that also. So I would go with Queer Eye.
I'm going to be boring and say I reckon it's going to be Shark Tank just wins again.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It's a fun show.
It is I like Shark Tank. It's accessible. And sometimes at the Emmys, you just have the same show win year after year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people complained a lot about that with The Amazing Race, how it won 11 in a row or something ridiculous. I was sort of like, I'd probably rather that win 11 in a row than some of the other nominees win.
It's better than Donald Trump having an Emmy right now, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those years, like one of the biggest crimes at the Emmys is that Survivor's never won that category. And it's not even nominated anymore. What's that?
They did win, not before that category was created. Survivor did win a program Emmy.
Yes, that is true. But boy,
and Jeff Probst won 4 times. It's not like they're
did. Yeah,
before they dropped him.
He doesn't even get nominated now, and he is by far the best reality TV host. So it's such a that'd be an interesting discussion, like why, like Survivor's treatment at the Emmys and where that's come from.
Probably the fact that the show's in its like 50th season or something.
Yeah.
I'm joined by a special guest here.
Here we go.
There he is.
Oh, is that your kitty cat?
Oh, that's my parents.
Oh, I just saw the blanket. I'm like, I couldn't really see him.
Okay.
I can't put him on camera longer or else he has to get residuals.
And Queer Eye has won Best Structured Reality Show.
There you go. What a great...
Ooh, Netflix number 5 in series. That's their 3rd of the week.
Whoa, that's so cool. The
Crown is looking better and better, and so is Godless still. Like, Netflix keeps this run up.
We have Unstructured Reality Program coming up next. Would someone like to read the nominees for that one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Born This Way, Deadliest Catch, RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked, Intervention, Naked and Afraid, and United Shades of America with W. Kamau Bell.
Okay, so I think Naked and Afraid is not winning. And after that, I think a lot of those other shows are in the mix.
I would go with United Shades of America with W. Kamau Bell.
Yeah,
that won last year.
That won last year.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that's going to win, and then that would be my prediction.
Yeah,
it's funny. Why do you think that Drag Race doesn't seem to win these program awards, but RuPaul's won twice?
Maybe they view the show more as an achievement for him than as the show itself. I don't. But it's also NBC versus VH1, so that could also have a factor. That would be a big award for VH1 to win.
Chris, what we're getting from Chris is that tonight is moving a lot quicker than last night's awards show, which is interesting. I guess those comedy and drama series contenders take a bit longer at the microphone and things like that. It might also be that last night they had more honorary awards and those sorts of things.
They had to do the in memoriam also.
They did the in memoriam and things like that. So Chris has said after this next category, it might be good to switch out the panel and get a new panel of people in with their thoughts. But Tony, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about what's a category you are looking forward to later tonight.
Well, the 2 that I was the most excited about were both have already happened.
Oh, that's good.
I really wanted Wild Wild West to win. I think one of the things that will be really interesting to me is to see where they go. I always find Narrator such an interesting such a really interesting category, and you certainly have some interesting voices going on there. You know, and if I could have anybody narrate my life, it would be Sir David Attenborough. So, or to see if Liev Schreiber can finally win an Emmy.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, no, there's a big category, narrator, and that is coming up. It's category number 25, and we have had the first 20 categories so far tonight. There are 42 in total, and they are ending the night with Variety Special Live. That is the 42nd category of the night. Which is that a Jesus Christ Superstar category, Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could end the night with Jesus Christ Superstar getting another win.
It's nice to see some of the networks actually bringing home some hardware more than usual.
Yeah, it's really like the NBC night at the Emmys tonight, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's going to be the NBC night at the Emmys at the primetime ceremony. Well, it's on NBC. It's hosted by NBC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations to United Shades of America for winning Best.
Good for them.
Yeah. Great series, deserving win. That's fantastic. And what we might do now is you guys stay on, because I don't want to be on my own on Emmy of nothing. I don't want to be on my own on Emmy night. And we'll ask for our new panel to come on in now. I've lost the list in front of me. I thought I had it up here. I'm assuming it's Riley, Zach, and
Tom O'Brien, I think.
Tom O'Brien. Oh, great. I haven't spoken to him in ages. Be great to get his thoughts. So if those guys who are in the next our next block can sign on in. Amanda, do you have any final thoughts?
It's going to be interesting to see which NBC program tonight ends with the most, but it's looking good for Jesus Christ Superstar, and it's making me think about maybe I should move it up into first for directing. But
yeah, perhaps.
All those limited series.
So I've got SNL and Jesus Christ Superstar both on 4 at the moment, so they're looking like the shows that are looking good now. Charles, any last thoughts?
No, I think everything's been pretty much well said. Good for Brett Morgan.
The shows that are looking good now. Charles, any last thoughts? Yeah. And Tony, last thoughts from you?
And I'm just going to pretend that that Jake Duplass's Emmy is for the ones that he should have at least been nominated for Transparent.
And look, Amanda's got her puppy. Yeah, say something, Amanda, so we can see the screen.
He didn't bark or do anything bad this time. You a good boy.
There you go. So Charles with a cat, Amanda with the dog, and
Tony with a bubble water.
Tony with a bubble water. See you guys. If you want to close the chat now, we'll move on to our next panel. And we've got people like James Corden and Anthony Bourdain with Emmys.
Have a good night.
I thought you were about to say James Corden was on the panel. I'm like, okay, now it's just desperation.
I'm not leaving if he's joining. So
yeah, no, well,
peace.
Yeah,
see you
guys. So here we go. Zach, Riley, Tom. I'm going to start with you, Tom. How have you felt about these past 24 hours with the Emmy Awards?
You know, some things are very predictable, but when they go nutty, they go nutty. I love it.
What's been the nuttiest thing, do you think?
I think, well, I'm just looking over tonight, and nothing seemed very nutty tonight yet. But I was very pleased by, but did not expect all 4 African-American guest actors to get in. And that was very cool. Predicted by a few people, but I was not one of those brave souls. So when those kept coming, I was like, wow, this is something. And it really it's a feather in the cap to the Academy voters.
Our next category is Outstanding Picture Editing for an Unstructured Reality Program. The nominees are Born This Way, Deadliest Catch, Life Below Zero, RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked, and The United Shades of America with...
Which is actually one already.
Oh, which one?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Good job.
That's the one I'm going to predict, so that's...
Yeah.
So
Shoo it.
that's what I was going to say. Was going to win. Because the switching over the panels, we lost a bit of time. So the next one is Structured Reality or Competition Program Picture Editing. So who are the nominees in that category?
The Amazing Race, American Ninja Warrior, Queer Eye, RuPaul's Drag Race, and The Voice. Let me make sure that while I was reading out those nominees, we didn't just have a winner announced, because they are coming really quickly tonight.
They are coming, yeah.
I think these variety people don't like to talk too much. So.
Those reality and variety people and nonfiction people, they want to get to the governor's ball.
They're very terse and soft-spoken.
Yes, so these reality people, they don't like attention. So, that also means with that last category that the United States is on 2 Emmy wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put that on.
Do you have any room left?
I left a lot of. There we go. It's a chalk one. United States. There we go. United States on 2 Emmy wins. Good night for it. Yeah, and that's the board. That's the state of the board. Zach, how are we going?
Good. Yeah, not too many surprises tonight. Looks like we're still waiting on the next category to announce. Yeah, so
RuPaul won this one last year, and Deadliest Catch had won 5 years before, so I assume that they'll just go with RuPaul now that they've discovered it.
Yeah.
That's my pick too.
So there you go. What about let's go to the music and lyrics category. That's a fun race. We've had some great songs win this in the past, like Dick in a Box and I'm Effing Matt Damon. What is going to be the illustrious song that will join that canon of tunes? And the songs we have that are nominated are Big Mouth, Am I Gay? A Christmas Story Live, In the Market for a Miracle, The Good Fight, High Crimes and Misdemeanors. If You're Not in the Orbit, Eat Breakfast, the song's just getting started. Saturday Night Live, Come Back Barack, or Barack, I guess might sound better. And Steve Martin, Short and Evening, You Will Forget for the Rest of Your Life, song titled The Buddy Song.
I'll just say before we talk about that one that yes. Queer Eye actually took the last category. So
fantastic.
Wow. Good night for Queer Eye.
So Queer Eye, that is their second win, I believe. So we will move them onto the board.
I can't wait.
Yeah, what song do we think is gonna win this one out, Zach?
I'm gonna go with the Pasek and Paul one, Christmas Story. They have been on a winning streak as of late. This year's Oscar accepted, but they did pick up some hardware for that anyway. I think that perhaps the opportunity to make these 2 young men 2 of 5 EGOT winners tonight might be too good to pass up. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. Riley?
Well, we used to have a lot of fun winners in this category. It's too bad that I don't think we'll have one this year. I think it's just going to go to SNL because they're the most nominated show. Since the Emmys have switched over to this, popular system where kind of everybody can vote, now the music winners, they don't necessarily have to have been seen by everybody who's voting. So I feel like most people have seen SNL, or at least more people have seen it compared to, whatever movie the Pasek and Paul song is in. So I'm going with SNL.
Yeah.
One of those live, I'm sorry, I was just saying it was one of those live musical productions that is what's going to help keep network television winning Emmys from here on out.
I just hope that I'm looking forward. I just want to see Chance the Rapper get an Emmy tonight.
Yeah. And look, I just think you're going to see on the ballot form a song called Bring Back Barack. And like, there's going to be a lot of voters who just share that sentiment.
Well, it looks like you guys are right. It went to Saturday Night Live. You know, sorry, Pasek and Paul. I guess you'll have to wait on your EGOT.
So we've added Queer Eye to the 2 Emmy wins, and now we get to move up. Saturday Night Live, 5 Emmys. It's now chasing down the total that Game of Thrones set last night. Let's see if it can get to 7 or 8 wins tonight.
Well, I guess we should go ahead and skim through the nominees for Best Narrator, which is our next category.
Yeah, and just before on that win for music and lyrics is that our first EGOT winners, potential EGOT winners for tonight, have not won.
That's right. Yeah,
we're now down to 3 potential EGOT winners who could take out the Emmy, Grammy, Tony, and Oscar, the Entertainment Grand Slam.
But now Kenan Thompson has an Emmy.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. He's a co-writer.
Chance the Rapper was not a co-writer, so he doesn't.
Oh, he wasn't. Oh, okay.
Oh no, we love Chance.
Now we have to wait for another year.
Yeah, maybe one day Chance will be an EGOT winner, but he needs to win like all. He's probably got a Grammy, right?
I suspect.
Anyway, Zach,
50 Grammy.
Grammy, right? Yeah.
You were going to take us to the new category. There are some big names in this one, Zach. Who are the nominees?
You got Sir David Attenborough for Blue Planet 2. You've got Carl Reiner, who is the oldest Emmy nominee in history at 96 years old. If you're not in the obit, eat breakfast. You got Morgan Freeman for March of the Penguins 2, The Next Step. Charles Dance for Savage Kingdom, and Liev Schreiber for 24/7. Maybe this is perhaps the time when Liev Schreiber can finally win his first Emmy. But I wonder if maybe they'll go for Carl Reiner to make some Emmy history here.
Yeah. I could also see David Attenborough taking this out. I feel people are going to see that and go, oh, yeah, he's good. And March of the Penguins got a bit of an upset win yesterday, so actually they'll move up to 2 Emmys if they're able to win this.
And you can tell that, you know, even the Emmys weren't expecting that win, hence they had the category on last night instead of tonight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whereas they had song on tonight because, you know, SNL is a variety series.
Yeah. No, good point. Tom, any thoughts on Narrator?
I wouldn't say very often, but once in a while they'll go for the least celebrated person in the group, and I would say the excellent actor Charles Dance would be that. And it's not Morgan Freeman's done this narration for this first part of March of the Penguins, and David Attenborough has such a familiar voice. He seems to be narrating a lot of things every year. So
well, that's who just won, Tom O'Brien, is David Attenborough.
This is actually his first Emmy. He has 5 BAFTA awards, but he's never won here.
And he's a nonagenarian too. I believe he's about 92 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So
around there, yeah.
Maybe he is the oldest Emmy winner.
Who said there aren't roles for old people in Hollywood? Right. Who said that you can't?
You just have to be off camera in order to do it.
Having said that, he's actually like a very active narrator where you see him like fairly often in Blue Planet. So I wonder, you know, where the line is on that one.
Well, I guess, because Carl Reiner is the same thing in that documentary. He's a very active on-camera part of it as well. You know, he's kind of going around and talking to fellow 90-year-olds. So maybe that does help. Whereas I guess people like Liev Schreiber are more just providing their voice to things. But.
Yeah. You know, this is a good point. And I just realized a rare correction from me. I accidentally on the board wrote United States not United Shades of America for the
Wow.
two. So I was just fact checking myself. So our next category is music direction. Someone read out the nominees for that. Riley, do you have it in front of me? Oh, Zach?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Someone.
You want to? Bruno Mars, 24K Magic Live at the Apollo. Elton John, I'm
Garrett.
Still Standing. Huh?
24 karat.
Oh, 24 karat. Just reading. The Oscars, Super Bowl halftime show starring Justin Timberlake and Tony Bennett, the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. I don't know. Maybe the Oscars will win this. What do you guys think?
Riley?
Well, looking through past winners, I feel like I would have gotten this category wrong every year. I'm predicting Bruno Mars because I feel like he puts on good shows.
Okay. Is that based on what you've looked at for past winners, or are you going to be wrong again?
Well, we just got a winner, so it's
Tony Bennett?
Tony Bennett. Yeah.
I got in under the wire.
They really are doing these quickly. We need to pick up our pace here. Predicting these.
Congratulations. Next category is interactive program. Riley, do you want to read out the nominees for that one?
Yes. Let me just grab them. Okay, so we have The Daily Show, Full Frontal, Last Week Tonight, The Late Late Show, and SNL.
There we go. And I imagine this will be an official nomination for SNL, I'm guessing? Official win for SNL, these count for their actual shows?
Yeah, it's very strange what the Emmys do. Last year, they pretty much assigned the Westworld nomination to Westworld and everything else didn't count. This year, a lot more of the nominations for these kind of side projects count for the actual shows, but still not all of them.
Yeah, it's got something to do with the title or whatever, right? Like if they...
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes that's the deciding factor. Tom, what do you like here?
Is James Corden officially in the title of the nomination? Because if he is, he'll win.
Yeah. He's got to be setting a record for how many times he can get nominated for an Emmy, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Last Week Tonight won this last year, so maybe I'll go with that again.
James Corden won 2 years ago. John Oliver won 3 years ago, and I think Jimmy Fallon won 4 years ago. So
I think we just got a. Oh no, never mind.
Oh,
that's just Twitter updating.
Tease.
Twitter updating late. I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah.
So, I was surprised that Westworld won again when I thought 13 Reasons Why their innovative or their interactive program was more innovative and important. So I assume that they'll just go with the same as last year in this category as well. So John Oliver for me.
Yeah, I could see John Oliver has already won 2 awards tonight. I could see that coming up for him again. And it is like in some ways in interactive shows often there's hashtags and he's asking or there's often a call to action to his audience at the end of a segment. So I think that could bode well for him there. Yeah, so there you go. The category after that one is unstructured interactive program. So do you have the nominees for that, Tom?
No, I don't. But if someone else does.
I'm looking for them right now. Do you have them, Riley?
No.
Okay.
Oh, guys, I can get them.
Unstructured.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sure. I can't even find that.
Too many nominees here.
Sure. Unscripted. Okay, so we've got Conan, the Oscars, which won last year, RuPaul, and Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and neither of those two were nominated last year. I think the Oscars is actually the only returning nominee, and it's the incumbent winner.
So probably the safe money's on the Oscars here.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't mean to sound so disappointed.
Right? We love the never have we work for an awards site and we're like, oh, the Oscars. Like we should be super excited for the Oscars. It's an award show.
Well, I mean, they could have had an unscripted interactive program if they had turned into American Idol like they were about to with this popular film category.
Oh,
So
God.
it looks like we got a winner for interactive program, and it is Last Week Tonight.
Last Week Tonight, John Oliver.
That's right.
You know what that means? It moves up into talk about Three's company with all these shows on 3 Emmy Awards. So Last Week Tonight is now on 3 Emmy wins on our board. It's done it. It's up there, mixing it up with The Crown and Westworld and Maisel and Handmaids and Black Mirror. So that really good night for Last Week Tonight.
Yes, we had repeats in both of those interactive program categories. I think the problem for us is that we don't know exactly what they're voting on here, nor do we really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we're getting into some of these short forms as well, too.
Yes.
In 2 categories from now, there's short form nonfiction or reality series, which contains a lot of fiction series within the nominees. The Americans, the final season, Anthony Bourdain, Explore Parts Unknown, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, America's Obsession, Jay Leno's Garage, and Top Chef, Last Chance Kitchen. I wonder if they might just name check Anthony Bourdain in a lot of these places.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure that many voters haven't seen any of them. So
Yeah, I do like how Gianni Versace is presented here on the ballot. It's The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, America's Obsession. So there's a lot of subtitles there.
Yeah, I really don't like the direction that all these short form categories are heading in. We see a lot of shows, just like Versace or SNL or John Oliver or whatever. They're just submitting, their brand essentially. Yeah. And nobody actually knows what they're voting for. Usually it's just kind of a little 2-minute segment that they put out on YouTube every so often. Like Jay Leno's Garage, I like it because it's, actually like a short form series.
Yeah.
We got a winner for unscripted program interactive media, and that is Conan Without Borders.
That's great.
Conan O'Brien is able to win an Emmy again.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that's a great.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's very deserving. So that's a great win for Conan. Yes. So which one was that for? Unstructured interactive?
Yeah.
Yes.
So then the short form nonfiction or reality is coming up after that.
Yeah. And then informational series or special. Do you want to run us through the nominations for that, Riley?
Yeah, sure. So we've got Anthony Bourdain, we've got Scientology and the Aftermath, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, Star Talk, and Vice. And after the night we've had, I would assume that it's just going to be another win for Parts Unknown. Whereas before I was thinking that maybe David Letterman could take it with Netflix behind him.
Yeah, if
goes up.
Oh, I was just going to say, were it not for tragedy striking earlier this year, I would say this does have a little bit more of a competition, but I think that, given what happened, it's probably going to be a win for Anthony Bourdain again.
And he has won 4 times before here.
So. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's a strong category.
Mm-hmm. When I heard that David Letterman was coming back to Netflix or coming back to TV with Netflix, I thought, boy, he's going to throw a real spanner in the works with the variety series category. Then I heard he was submitting in this category, and I thought, David Letterman's going to win. And then I saw I then looked at the ballot of what the other shows were. And I'm like, actually, probably be Anthony Bourdain again.
Now, Leah Remini won this last year, right? Or was that 2 years? This was last year that she won, right?
Yeah.
So,
look, that's got a shot of winning again. She won last year. I think the Scientology issue is still of fascination and relevance in Hollywood, and so I do think Dave could win. She could win with the Scientology piece, but Anthony Bourdain's out in front.
Yeah,
no argument.
Yeah, so yeah, really tough race, and it was great. It was great to see Dave back on TV,
and he was so selective with the guests he chose because they only had, 6 or 7 episodes.
Yeah.
And he sat down with really interesting people.
Yeah.
Actually, LA Story, Chris Beecham and Marcus Dixon and myself went to a taping of one of those with Jerry Seinfeld. It was during Netflix's official Emmy campaign at that FYC space that they put up. Riley, I think you went to that as well, at least to the space that is. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a very fun show to watch. I'm sure that if he continues to do episodes, he'll be back in this race again.
And I imagine if he does this show long enough, I would imagine he'll win one year.
Yeah.
So Anthony Bourdain has taken short form, so he could win these 2 awards in very quick succession.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, and that, Riley, is one of the ones that does count for the Parts Unknown tally?
Not technically, no.
What, not technically?
No.
So we don't move that one up on the board?
Well, I would move it up, but, it's up to you. It's your board.
Okay, I'm gonna consult the Emmy Award list and see if
they will not include it.
They haven't included it. Okay,
yeah.
We're not going to move it up then.
Okay,
because I'm going to go with I'm going to defer to the Academy for this. The Academy or Tom O'Neill are the people that I will listen to on whether it officially counts or not.
I guess we should talk about since they're probably going to announce the next category soon. We got hairstyling coming up. First for a multi-camera series or special, that is Dancing with the Stars, Jesus Christ Superstar, RuPaul's Drag Race, Saturday Night Live, and The Voice. Boy, if I had a vote, it would go to RuPaul's Drag Race, because talk about a show that is all about the hair. But I got to wonder if maybe Jesus Christ Superstar would take this just as a part of its overall tally.
They're all kind of bald, though, or they've got like barely any hair.
The RuPaul people, they've got all those wigs that they've got to put on, right? Help me out here, Tom O'Brien. You're a fan of the
yes.
show, aren't you?
Just to clear up, I was talking about Jesus Christ and Judas.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what they look like with their wigs off. I only know.
But they did have a lot of hair in Jesus Christ Superstar with all of the singers and dancers and all of that. It had very distinctive looks, and that the hair had a lot to do with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the steamroller continues for Jesus Christ Superstar. But I have to defend you on RuPaul's. That is every year there is something that makes me gasp in terms of hair.
Yeah, I think they're probably the 2 nominees that are in the mix here, and it could go either way. So the category after that one is multi-camera series or special makeup, and the nominees are Zach.
We've got Dancing with the Stars, Jesus Christ Superstar, Drag Race, SNL, and The Voice. And last year, the winner was SNL, and it was actually their 6th win.
Yeah. So do we think Saturday Night Live is going to do it again and move up, get inch ever that closer to Game of Thrones?
Go ahead, Tom.
I don't know. They did, have Robert Mueller and Robert De Niro looking uncannily like him, and Kate McKinnon's Rudy Giuliani. So there are spectacular examples of makeup on that show. But
it's hard not to.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of why it would be Jesus Christ Superstar, except that it's winning everything.
I should say before I give my prediction in this category that Anthony Bourdain just won informational series or special.
There we go.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom O'Brien. I guess Saturday Night Live does have a lot of spectacular makeup, but then so does RuPaul's Drag Race.
That is true.
It's hard for me not to root for that in all these categories.
So we're moving Parts Unknown up to 3 Emmy wins. Up with last week tonight with John Oliver, 2 shows that have taken out 3 Emmy Awards tonight. Those shows are only one behind Jesus Christ Superstar, which is on 4. Although we have a few categories coming up where Jesus can maybe increase that gap over them a bit.
You mean it's Work a Miracle?
Yeah, yes. No, that song didn't win.
I was surprised earlier in the night when SNL took lighting because it has never won that award before.
Whoa,
So-
that's interesting. I hadn't realized I hadn't won that before. That's cool.
That's telling.
Yeah, it's a big night for
It's been on
SNL.
for a long time, and yeah, finally winning in season 43.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, if you do lighting well enough for 43 years, you'll win an Emmy.
You know, it's too bad that this informational special couldn't be one of the ones, or informational series couldn't be one of the ones that's presented on the telecast, because, I mean, that would have been a really heartbreaking and powerful moment, you know, to see this great TV icon who was, you know, left us far too soon, you know, win one last Emmy. But I guess that's the nature of having over 100 categories that you have to give out throughout 2 weekends.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, they do look at the nominees and they decide if they like them or not. Like in movie, you know, they shifted it over to the Creative Arts as they did a few years ago.
Right.
But, you know, if they had more celebrities nominated there, then I assume it would be in the main telecast. So you think they could do the reverse here if they wanted to.
Yeah, true. That's a good point.
And like you had some big, like, you know, you had David Letterman nominated. You had the Scientology. Like, it wasn't like it was just an Anthony. Like, there's quite a good category where there would have been some interest in a few of the nominees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Neil deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah. So, we've talked about the makeup, haven't we? What's the series technical direction nominees?
So in that one, we've got The Big Bang Theory, Dancing with the Stars, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Last Week Tonight, SNL, and The Voice. And this one, SNL has won 12 times, including last year.
Yeah, I can see SNL taking this out, to be honest.
Yeah. It almost defines technical direction.
Yeah. So, I think,
This is one of those categories where The Big Bang Theory can sneak in through proportional representation.
I was going to say, I mean, maybe The Big Bang Theory being nominated for Best Comedy Directing for the first time in its 11 seasons could finally give it a leg up to win for technical direction, if they think that maybe they're voting for it for Best Directing as well. I don't know.
So RuPaul has won hairstyling.
Woo!
RuPaul Drag Race, which means, is that its first win or its second win of the night?
I haven't been on here as long as you have.
This is the second. They won costumes for reality series.
So there you go. I'll put it on the board. RuPaul.
But it is their first win in this category, and they only started getting nominated last year.
Wow, no kidding.
Oh.
Right. Well, good for them. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, that show is such a marvel of hair and makeup and costumes. It's so beautifully put together.
And this sometimes happens at the Emmys, where a show like can take a while to catch on, and then when it does, it does.
Yeah, did in a big way.
Yeah.
Has The Voice won anything tonight? I haven't been. Is it?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Not yet.
Just like last year when it did not win a single Creative Arts.
I know, Riley.
And then it broke our hearts.
That was like, I hope nobody associated with The Voice is watching this, but that was the one heartbreaking moment I had during the Emmy telecast. It was just like every other winner that was announced, I could be like, okay, I could see why that would happen, but that one was just like the air left out of my living room.
Apologies to Mark Burnett. Sorry, buddy.
Yes, yeah.
So yes, the next. What's the next category? What's the next one we've got?
We're waiting on. Well, makeup just went to Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. Okay,
so
let's
move that one up.
Let's update the board. Let's go to the board. So RuPaul's Drag Race is now on 2, and SNL is now up to 6, 1 behind what Game of Thrones got yesterday on the big board. So Saturday Night Live, and look, I feel like Saturday Night Live is going to take over Game of Thrones, right? It's got 2 more wins in the tank tonight.
God, I guess it could. Yeah.
Left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got the. Can it?
It's only in technical direction, isn't it? I don't think there's anything else.
I guess it could tie it then.
It could tie it.
So okay, so it can tie. So it's just so there's one more, and it will probably win that one. So Saturday Night Live win technical direction. The categories we have in the pipeline are nonfiction sound editing, nonfiction sound mixing, motion design, variety special pre-recorded, reality casting, reality cinematography, reality directing, reality host, and then variety special live. So it's really we're going to move into a real section of reality series and reality categories coming up soon.
Yeah.
So
then you want to talk about sound editing and sound mixing for a nonfiction series?
I'd love to.
All right, let me pull those up here. I'm scanning on the official Emmy ballot. So sound editing for a nonfiction program, you got Another Chance where Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown can win. You've got Planet 2. You've got The Defiant Ones, Jane, The Vietnam War, and Wild Wild Country. Not a bad group of nominees. I mean, all of these have like some very intricate sound work that could be rewarded. Maybe this isn't just a cakewalk for Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
So for nominations in this category, this is one of the few that still uses the tape system. So they have, popular vote narrows it down to 10, and then they have a panel that narrows it to 5. But now it's open to whatever's just the most popular for the winner.
On the Oscars, it's a good bet if you're trying to predict if there's a war movie in the mix for sound. Predict that. So I mean, I think the Vietnam War has a chance.
Yeah, and I mean that's such a it's such an undeniable achievement, that series. Yeah. I know they're only competing for one episode, part 6. But I mean, when you look at the scope of what they achieved in making this movie over 10 years and the just amount of work that went into it, it's so undeniable. It's got to pick up something somewhere.
So SNL has taken technical direction. I'm actually predicting The Defiant Ones for sound editing, because normally at the Oscars, you go with the music one for sound mixing and the war one for sound editing. But last year, the Beatles actually won sound editing as well. So.
That's a good point.
One.
Yeah.
So does that move Saturday Night Live up?
Yes. So Saturday Night Live is now moved up to 7 wins for the night with technical direction. That is probably where they are going to close their account for the night. I don't think they're nominating any more of the categories. At the Emmys next week, they are nominated for supporting actress, supporting actor, and variety series, which means, or variety sketch series, which means they can get up to 10. So that has now become Saturday Night Stealing is a 10. What a bad 10.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a picture of a ceiling.
Yeah, it's a ceiling. 10 is the most Saturday Night Live can get now, which would equal their record. I think in all 3 of the races that they won all those 3 last year at the Emmys, but I would say they've got a tougher race in all 3 this year than they had last year. I think variety series, they are the clear front runner, so they'll probably definitely get up to 8. The acting, they're going to struggle a bit more.
Yeah, they definitely have some real competition in those acting categories. I mean, Kate McKinnon, I think, is more likely to repeat than Alec Baldwin, just because she's got 2 already. But I think she's got some real heat from some newcomers like Alex Borstein and Zazie Beetz, and Alec Baldwin as well. I don't think he's a lot of people didn't think he was going to get nominated. So I mean,
I think
he might have a hard time getting.
Gone up Alec Baldwin quite a bit. He could win. He won last. He's
of course, yeah. I mean, we say this now, and just watch it repeat as they are wont to do. But
yeah,
I moved him down to 4th last night.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad spot for him.
So according to Chris Beecham, who is there in the room right now, they are airing the In Memoriam again. I guess it's a different batch of people who were coming in, or maybe they just a few people have died since yesterday. But
yeah,
they found new dead people.
it would be interesting, like if they are airing the same reel, or whether there are people like they've sort of divided it up a bit. The people they did in Memoriam, and it's more your variety, reality, non-fiction people that are into that. Like they sort of try to do some similar divide. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same at both, because I guess it's to pay respect to the people who have passed away past year in the TV industry, and probably both sets of nominees want to do that.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be different, but you do have like categories or branches like or fields, I guess I should say, like music, where you've got some categories last night, some tonight. So
yeah,
well, Chris is
they probably want to make sure that everybody sees it.
Chris is telling me that it's the same exact segment. They're just airing it because we have a different audience tonight. Let's remember, I mean, since they do divide these up, not everybody's going to go on Saturday, not everybody's going to go on Sunday, so they are just airing these twice, and I'm sure that we'll get to see it again ourselves on Monday, next Monday.
And for they air these on TV, the Creative Arts Emmys as well, don't they? And but they edit it into one particular. They edit it down and cut things out, so it doesn't really matter if they double anything up between those two shows, because they can just play one of the versions of the thing they doubled up.
And he's telling me there are no actors in this one, so I'm guessing these are behind the scenes folks. So, since we're going to on the televised broadcast surely see all of the actors, all the stars from TV who have passed away this last year.
Yeah, very good. So we've do you want to talk about motion design?
Well, we skipped sound mixing for nonfiction.
Oh, sound mixing. Sorry,
since we've got time.
I'll say one more thing about sound editing too. Just my point earlier about how music in the sound editing categories. Like last night, we also saw Atlanta beat the gun heavy Barry, and we also saw La La Land get a sound editing nomination, surprisingly. So maybe there is a creep in recent years where now music is being embraced by both sound branches.
Well, we'll have a interesting look at that coming up, because immediately after sound editing is sound mixing, and there's a lot of the same nominees in this category. Parts Unknown, The Defiant Ones, the music heavy one, Jane, The Vietnam War, and Wild Wild Country. It'll be interesting if they split these up or if they just go for the same one in both category.
Yeah. Who do we think's the front runner for sound mixing?
I would say, since it is music heavy, The Defiant Ones, but I could also see the Vietnam War winning here. We didn't talk a lot about Jane in the sound categories, and that could be a formidable player as well, because they had to create so much stuff to kind of go along with the images and all of this archival footage that they had found. Probably had to clean up a lot of stuff. So,
yeah, that's a good point.
I have the Defiant Ones as my prediction for both, but with the way the night's going, I might switch to Anthony Bourdain if I were to make my predictions now.
Yeah, like I think it's Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain is in the mix, I think, in every category that series is nominated in.
Okay, so he has won sound editing.
There you go.
Okay. So I guess maybe sound mixing is going to go that way as well, perhaps.
Could do. So we've got Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, moving up to 4 Emmy wins. Could soon be 5. Could soon get that fifth nomination. 5th win. Yes. Let's talk about the motion design category that's coming up. Category number 36.
So this is a juried award. So they've actually already announced the winners.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, they don't announce who the submissions are unless they upload them to the Emmy website accidentally, which they did for innovation in interactive media this year. But the winners are Broad City for their animated episode and Wasted, the story of food waste, for some motion designed sequence in the episode. This award's only been around for I think 3 years, and the first year that after they created it, they actually ruled that none of the submissions were worthy of their new award, so there was no award. And then last year, I think it went to 13th for animation that happens in the middle of that movie.
Yeah, I think, and it's worth commenting that at Gold Derby, we do not count honorary awards as technical awards on your resume. If you win an honorary Oscar, if you win an honorary Emmy, we don't count that as an actual Emmy win. But these juried awards, we do count. These are being voted on. These are being decided. This is not, so even though they're decided a little bit differently, it does count as an official Emmy win. If for whatever reason there was an animated episode of Anthony Bourdain's that won this award, we would be moving Parts Unknown up on the board.
Yeah, so Broad City is now an Emmy-winning program.
Great.
Yeah. We just gotta. Yeah. So there we go. Daniel Montgomery just sent through that if you count the Explore Parts Unknown for the short form nonfiction reality, Anthony Bourdain is actually on 5 wins for tonight. The reason I haven't moved him up on the board is that the Television Academy has not listed that as one of Parts Unknown award nominations. That it lists that as a separate series. But Anthony Bourdain's work has been given 5 wins.
6 now, actually, so you can move him up on the board. Because
6 he can. Well, yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up on the outside.
There we go. Parts Unknown. The unfortunate thing for Parts Unknown in terms of catching SNL or Game of Thrones is it is not nominated for many more awards, if any. I think it had 6 nominations in total. It has won 5. I cannot remember if it has lost one earlier tonight or not, or whether there's still one to come.
Well, I suppose while they're giving out the Motion Design Awards, we should probably talk about the next category, which is for Variety Special Pre-Recorded. And those nominees are The Carol Burnett Show 50th Anniversary Special, Carpool Karaoke Primetime Special 2018, Dave Chappelle Equanimity, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee presents The Great American Puerto Rico, It's Complicated, and Steve Martin and Martin Short, An Evening You Will Forget for the Rest of Your Lives. I guess safe bet is to go with Carpool Karaoke, since that usually prevails here, but perhaps Full Frontal with Samantha Bee could win this award, or maybe if they're sentimental, Carol Burnett would add another Emmy to her shelf.
And like Steve Martin and Martin Short are pretty well-respected people. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they won this either.
And Carpool Karaoke, they actually have a couple other nominations this year, I think in editing and technical direction, whereas they've won before when it's just nominated in this category. I've actually got a 500 bet, or whatever the points are now, on Equanimity. And again, this is through watching the tapes, where I thought that one was by far the funniest. I thought it was hilarious. I feel like people have seen it, and it's also nominated unnecessarily in categories like editing. So previously, when we were under the tape system, you would never see comedy specials win this category. But I feel like we're in a different time now, different voting, so there's a chance. But it is ranked last in the odds.
Yes.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah. No. That's Tom, do you have any thoughts on this category?
I think Riley has made a good point. I mean, it's worth taking a flyer on, because Dave Chappelle surprised last year by winning that Emmy for Saturday Night Live, which was expected to go to other people. So I wouldn't count him out here. But I've always said to Zach that Emmy voters are not sentimental, but maybe there's a little bit of sentiment tonight. Yes.
I said it about Diana Rigg, and nobody wanted to listen to me. So,
Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tom.
No, that's okay. And then end on a laugh. Always end on a laugh.
Well, I mean, I guess one other thing that works in Dave Chappelle's favor is it's one of 2 nominees that Netflix has in here, along with the Steve Martin and Martin Short special. and they've been on a tear tonight, picking up some of these program wins. So,
yeah, no, very good point. Like if I trying to think what I think is going to win this one, I think this one's a tough race. Again, carpool karaoke. I think the fact that there isn't also a clear alternate to carpool karaoke, that you could see them going with Dave Chappelle, you could see them going with Steve Munshort, you could definitely see them going with Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
I'd maybe put Carol Burnett in that spoiler spot, actually. The affection there is for her in the industry.
That was my $500 bet.
And she would be the latest person to get a Gold Derby bump, because she did an interview with our very own Chris Beecham, which was quite exciting, to be able to have a TV legend like that, come on and talk to us. We actually got pretty lucky with some of those this year, along with Carl Reiner, So I hope these old legends keep on cranking them out.
Yeah. And just going back to the sort of the parts unknown Anthony Bourdain on the list, I think that's all his categories done. I think that's all of parts unknown's categories for the evening. So I think he rounds out the night on 5, with also a 6 for the explore parts unknown section.
Well, Riley, you are a genius.
Very contentious.
You were right on about that. Dave Chappelle just won for Variety Special Recorded. Congratulations on that 500 bet. Yeah.
Don't bet against Dave Chappelle at the Emmys. Ever. Yeah.
Talk about somebody who's been having an awards comeback these last couple of years.
Yeah. And I think like that's particularly
we'll have reality casting coming up next.
Yeah.
So we should probably run through those real quick.
Yes. So now we're going to enter a whole slate of reality categories. And this is good. We can talk about all these sort of reality races sort of in a block. Reality casting is next. So, Zach, you've got those nominees in front of you?
I do. It's Born This Way, which won last year and is the only other winner because I believe this category was created last year. Project Runway, Queer Eye, RuPaul's Drag Race, and The Voice. This is tough. I mean, I think that I wouldn't go with Project Runway. I wouldn't go with The Voice. Queer Eye's done really well tonight. RuPaul's got a couple of awards. Maybe the incumbent will win. But I think I might go with Queer Eye on this one.
I've got to go with Queer Eye because they cast not only the contestants or whatever you want to call them, but they also cast the hosts because it's the revival of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was surprising that Born This Way won this last year and then did not go on to win its program category.
Yeah. I'm going to be inclined to say that Born This Way will repeat because to have the job of casting developmentally challenged people in a non-competition way, is probably a very difficult job to do, and it's very different than the jobs the casting directors of the other 4 shows. My second choice would probably be Queer Eye, only because again, it's they're finding stories. Yeah,
like I think Queer Eye sort of fits a bit of a different type of thing as well. And
we just got a winner, and it was indeed Queer Eye.
There you go. Did that count? Would that have counted the casting for the hosts?
Yes, it did. Yeah, right, Riley.
The first.
I counted, but I have no idea if that casting director actually casted them too. That's a good question.
Yeah, because usually probably not, but it was a group of hosts and it was the first season of the show, so they would have had to get cast, and those hosts are a big part of that show as well. They're nominated and things like that. So Queer Eye now he's up to 3 wins. So
we should probably run through the nominees for cinematography for a reality program.
Yes.
They are The Amazing Race, Born This Way, Deadliest Catch, Life Below Zero, Queer Eye and RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know, maybe given the Queer Eye love, that might win again. But Deadliest Catch usually picks up some of these technical awards. So perhaps that'll win here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's a very interesting category because Deadliest Catch has won 5 times, Amazing Race has won twice, Born This Way won last year, Life Before Zero won the year before, and Queer Eye's on a roll. So plus even RuPaul has been picking up awards that it hasn't in the past.
Yeah, I could see that winning too.
I'd say probably RuPaul and Queer Eye's strengths would not be seen as their cinematography, so a win there for either of those shows would show some real support and love for those particular series. I would say, you know, your Deadliest Catch and Amazing Race are the ones that probably are a bit more showy in terms of that sort of thing. Like Amazing Race, people say, oh, it's global, you got these great shots at international locations and got it. But that's a Deadliest Catch, like on those fishing barges and seeing the waves and all that sort of thing. Like, I'd probably give one of those two shows the edge. And maybe my gut would go Deadliest Catch because I think that's been winning more as of late.
I don't know. I think both of them are done.
Well, we just got a winner in that category, and that is Life Below Zero. A bit of a stunner for us awards prognosticators. We didn't even bring that one up. So
I said it won 2 years ago, but yeah.
You did?
Oh, okay, yeah. Good, Riley. Okay, so now reality directing. The nominees for reality directing. Do you have them, Riley?
Okay, yeah. This is a new category, actually. So the nominees are The Amazing Race, American Ninja Warrior, RuPaul's Drag Race, Shark Tank, and The Voice. I'm going with The Amazing Race. It has a very hard time winning any directing awards, but it has been nominated somewhat consistently at both the Directors Guild Awards and also at the Emmys in the previous incarnation of this category.
It's got to be that or RuPaul, right? I feel like they're the only two shows.
Yeah.
Like Shark Tank is like for people sitting on couches and people like, you know, like it's probably not seen as a director's type show. The same way we might say, you know, Seth Meyers and Stephen Colbert and John Oliver are seen more as writers' shows than directors' shows. I sort of see Shark Tank as not your director's show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
This is a toughie. You know, I don't know whether Amazing Race has enough oomph left in its voting constituency. This maybe RuPaul.
Yeah, I can hope so. But yeah, that's what I'll go with. What the heck? You know, it's hard to predict these things sometimes.
Get down with the Drag Race ship.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the category after that is another one that RuPaul could win again because he's won there 2 years in a row. That is for reality host. RuPaul is joined by Ellen DeGeneres for Ellen's Game of Games, Jane Lynch for Hollywood Game Night, Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn for Project Runway, and W. Kamau Bell for the United Shades of America. Do you guys think that RuPaul will just repeat here again, or?
Yeah.
I do. I'd love to see Bell win, though.
Well, he probably could. I mean, that show did pick up a couple of wins tonight, so.
Yeah, I think that
and we just got a winner for reality directing, and it is indeed RuPaul's Drag Race.
So
move it up on that board.
RuPaul's Drag Race now moves up to 3. And if it does win that host category, we'll move up to 4 in line with Jesus Christ Superstar and Versace. So there you go.
I love nothing more than RuPaul's Drag Race tying with Jesus Christ Superstar for the.
Yeah.
I want to see that double feature in.
So we've got what was I going to say? So we've got, and then we've got Variety Special Live coming up as the last award of the night. So we are getting close to the conclusion of the award show. How are we going with those EGOT potentials, Riley? How many? So we've got John Legend in the last category. How the other EGOT contenders fit?
I think they were all attached to Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Okay, so those three all win if Jesus Christ Superstar wins Best Variety Series.
When?
Also,
Special. Sorry.
If Jesus Christ Superstar wins, it would also be an award for the late Craig Zadan, who just passed away earlier this year and had close to 20 Emmy nominations and had never won. It was quite sad. I spoke to Zadan and Marin. I think it was for one of their specials, and I asked them about their Emmy nominations, and Craig Zadan said, "Well, we'd like to win one of these days," and we're in Susan Lucci territory, and it's pretty sad that the chance that the best chance they've ever had of winning one, and he won't be here to accept it.
Yeah.
So, I guess the big question, we are on the precipice perhaps of award history, 3 people to become EGOT winners. Who is Jesus Christ Superstar going up against? What can get in the way of that history being made? So
it's the Golden Globe Awards, the Grammy Awards, the Night of Too Many Stars, and the Oscars. Yeah, if Jesus Christ Superstar doesn't win this, I would be shocked.
It's like, boys, dust off that mantle.
Yeah. Although, considering just like the sheer number of nominations that it got, the fact that it also got 3 acting nominations, which is unheard of for these live musical specials, I would be absolutely stunned if it did not win.
The 3 award shows could easily split the vote. I'd say maybe the Oscars are the front. Like if an award show won, probably the Oscars might be it this year. And then you've got Not Too Many Stars. Like it's about an important issue. It's about a lot of big names coming together over a cause of autism. I think a lot of the production elements of that show did not go well.
I got to interrupt you, Riley, because we got a winner. And that is, I'm sorry, Matt. I'm getting loopy here tonight.
That's fine.
Our winner is RuPaul Charles for reality host.
So there you go.
And by the way, our very own Jeffrey Kerr is informing me that when I interviewed Zadan and Marin, it was about Hairspray Live. So thank you, Jeffrey, for remembering my interview history better than I did. I appreciate it, buddy.
So there you go. RuPaul's Drag Race is up to 4 Emmy wins, tying with Jesus Christ Superstar and Versace. And, like quite an interesting mix of figures there. RuPaul, Jesus, and Versace all sharing. But we are perhaps about to see Jesus Christ Superstar move up to 5 Emmy wins with Parts Unknown. So that's what we're looking at happening. He is a fairly solid front runner in that race. We're about to see 3 people, including John Legend, perhaps become EGOT winners, winning Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, and Oscars. The Entertainment Grand Slam, the top industry awards you can win in TV, film, music, and theatre. And we are eagerly awaiting. Will Not Too Many Stars win instead?
Well, 2 years ago... Oh,
yeah. No, go, Riley.
2 years ago, Grease Live won, which was the first of these big musicals to take this category. And then last year, I assumed that it would just be Hairspray because I thought they were kind of in that mode, but ended up going to the Tonys. But then the Tonys didn't submit themselves this year. And, Jesus Christ Superstar has a lot more nominations.
Yeah, I think the Golden Globes isn't going to win. Could the Grammys pull off a really just head scratching win there? Like James Corden did host them, right?
Well, it was the Grammy Awards with James Corden.
Yeah. James Corden's Grammy Awards with James Corden.
He did host them. Yeah, he's listed here as one of the producers that would win. Boy, wouldn't that be?
James Corden will win his 8th Emmy Award. Correct.
Before Craig Zadan and Neil Marin win their first.
It was Jesus Christ Superstar, though. The winner has been announced.
And the winner is Jesus Christ Superstar. We have 3 new EGOT winners. We also have Jesus Christ Superstar moving up to 5. What a great night for that series.
Yeah.
Oh, that's special. Sorry, it's not a series. So there you go. What a night. And Riley, can you just tell us the names, because I'm not the best with names, the names of the 3 people who now he got winners?
Zach, do you know?
I know.
It's Andrew Lloyd Webber, Tim Rice, and this guy named John Legend, who I'm sure no one has ever heard of. That guy's going places, let me tell you.
Yeah. So there you go. John Legend, who could win acting next week at the Emmy Awards. So
yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know if it's a slam dunk for Darren Criss, but certainly it performed well tonight.
And it provides an alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
they could win directing too. Previously, Grease Live won at the Creative Arts, but then last year, I guess, people in the director's branch got upset. So then they created this new rule where these live musicals are now considered TV movies for the purposes of the directing category.
And of course,
there's still variety specials for other categories. So.
Had to be the year that David Lynch had a nomination in the bunch, of course. So I'm going to hold on to hope there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. Like, what are our big takeaways from tonight? We've seen a great night for Saturday Night Live, Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown, Jesus Christ Superstar, and RuPaul's Drag Race. Riley, what are your big thoughts coming out of tonight's awards?
Well, last year, one thing that was concerning was that even though RuPaul's Drag Race won 3 awards, none of them were at the expense of The Voice. Whereas this year, in 2 categories, it actually did defeat The Voice head-to-head. So it's looking better, to finally take it this year.
Yeah. No, good point. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I was most impressed with the emergence of Queer Eye, which I was skeptical of when it was announced. It just seemed to be a show of its time, but they did a really remarkable job in updating it and expanding who their subjects will be. And I was very, very happy to see the 3 award success of it tonight. Yeah.
Cool. Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but it seems like, RuPaul's Drag Race is doing a little bit better tonight, even as Riley said, than it did last year, where, it wasn't in direct competition with The Voice in any of the categories it won, but this year it did beat it in a couple of areas. So maybe that means we might have a new winner for a reality competition program. And everything else is just kind of, it's solidified. SNL is going to win variety sketch series again. John Oliver, I think, is, unstoppable again this year for variety talk series. So not a whole lot of surprises. But nice to see the new Queer Eye getting some love as well.
So we always talk about how David E. Kelley won comedy series and drama series, I think in 1999.
Yep.
So this year, James Corden, he has won both short form variety series and short form comedy or drama series. And he could win a 3rd program award next week for, the real version of The Late Late Show.
Yeah, there you go. So James Corden just racking up all those series awards. He's going to have there's going to be a James Corden drama series next year and a James Corden mini series, and he's just taking over the Emmys one category at a time.
You think he'd get nominated for an Emmy for being in Ocean's 8? Could he find a way to?
Yeah. We'll see if Warner Brothers lobby. It wouldn't be, we'll see now Warner Brothers or whoever made that movie is going to lobby. Hey, can we compete in the Oscars and the Emmys with Ocean's 8? Can we get both of those in there?
One thing I did want to talk about, I was not on the program when this category was announced, but as a lifelong Gary Shandling fan, it was really touching to see that walk away with a big award tonight. And I'm sure that it must have meant a lot to Judd Apatow, considering how personal that film was for him. So that was a good win.
Yeah, cool. Looking at our big board that we've got here, and we worked out earlier, Saturday Night Live can make, we worked out earlier, Saturday Night Live can, if it wins all its categories next week at the Prodigies, can move up to 10, which would equal their record. Just looking at a few of the other shows that were nominated, that did well tonight. Parts Unknown is not nominated for anything next week. 5 is where its account will close for the Emmy Awards. But Jesus Christ Superstar is nominated for Best Directing. It's nominated for Directing. It's nominated for Lead Actor, Supporting Actor, and Supporting Actress. So Jesus Christ Superstar could end on 9, is sort of its ceiling. We've got RuPaul's Drag Race could move up 1 to end the night on because it's up for reality competition program, so it could end on 5. And any other Last Week Tonight, that could move up 1. You could have Last Week Tonight get to 4 wins. I think that's sort of tonight's big winners, the ones that can move up.
Yeah, Versace can move up though.
Yes. Now looking at winners from last night. So how many categories is Versace nominated in next week? Tom, or anyone really?
6, right?
Yeah,
it's got the 3 acting,
3 supporting actors.
2 supporting actors. So let's say it doesn't tie with itself for supporting actor. Let's say that it just wins one of those supporting actor trophies. If it does tie with itself, that would count as 2 wins.
I guess so, yeah. Well, I mean, I was just counting like the categories that it's not.
So how many categories? So it's got supporting actor,
actress,
supporting actress,
lead actor, writing, directing, and series.
Writing, directing, series. So its ceiling is actually 10. So it can end on with the same amount. If it just sweeps everything, it can end with 10, like Saturday Night Live can. Then you've got Game of Thrones is writing, directing, supporting actor, supporting actress, and series. So that could win 5 and move up to 7 plus 5 is
12.
Quick.
12.
So that could, yeah, here we go.
Look at my math teacher would be so proud after failing me all those years.
Yeah, so there we go. So Game of Thrones can end on 12. Saturday Night Live can end on 10. We worked it out for The Handmaid's Tale yesterday, and that can move up. That can win quite a lot because it's up for lead actress, supporting actress,
supporting actor.
Supporting actor, it's first sort of male acting notice.
Writing, directing, and
series. So that can actually win 6 next week, which would take it up to 9. So it could end the night on 9 Emmy Awards, which would be a good. And look, it can't end on 9, and Game of Thrones can't end on 12. They are competing against each other in a lot of these categories. So, we'll see. It will be interesting to see if. So Handmaid's Tale very easily could overtake Game of Thrones next week, particularly if it goes on an acting run like it has. Handmaid's Tale has never lost an acting award at the Emmys. It's won every single drama actress race in the past 2 years. By actress race, I mean lead, supporting, and guest. So we'll see how it goes there. We've got Atlanta. That's nominated for writing, directing, lead actor, supporting actor,
supporting actress.
Yeah.
That's another 6.
So that's got 6. That has the same sort of track as The Handmaid's Tale. It can get up to 9. What else do we have here? We've got
Maisel has got the same 6 nominations as well, so that could get up to 9.
It's just got actress instead of actor, but everything else is the same. So that can move up to 9. We've got The Crown. Like, let's say The Crown, just hypothetically, I know no one's predicting this to happen. If that swept everything, it's got
6 categories.
6 categories. So that could end on 9 too. We've got a lot of shows sitting on 3, and a lot of those shows sitting on 3 have 6 categories they can be in next week. So a lot of shows have a ceiling of 9 heading into the Emmys next week. We've also got Westworld here buried behind, because it got to its 3 last night, buried behind Queer Eye, and last week tonight. and Westworld is nominated for actress, actor,
Actor again.
supporting actor. Is it up for supporting actor, Westworld?
No, I think it's just the four categories: just series, the 2 leads, and supporting actor.
Seriously, so Westworld could end on 7 if it won everything. Not that it's likely to do so. So, boy, oh boy, like what an exciting races we have lined up for next week. Do you have any big prediction as to which show we think is going to have a really good night looking down the barrel of next week, Riley?
Well, I love this board, and I think it's great that you won't have to expand it next week because Game of Thrones is going to hold at 7.
Do you think Game of Thrones is not going to win a single award, Riley?
Yep, that's right.
Savage Riley Chow. That's
wow. So are you expecting, Riley, that we're going to see a Handmaid's surge next week at the awards like we saw last year?
No, I think it'll win a few, but I'm thinking writing goes to The Americans, directing goes to The Crown, and supporting actors goes to Westworld. So I think it'll be very spread out, actually.
So sharing the love to everyone but Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Which has won drama series the past 2 times it was eligible. So that's a bold prediction, Riley. Not just that Game of Thrones isn't going to win series, but it's not going to win anything. In some ways, like the thing I'm thinking is like in some ways it could be drama series that is Game of Thrones' best chance. Like I think the acting race is it's going to struggle to win, and directing I think it's got a shot. Tom, what do you think?
Well, I think it's won writing before, though I think it's perceived more as a directing show. Mm. But I could see it winning 2 more.
Yeah. What do you think about? What do you think is going to be the big story next week at the Emmys?
I think it may be Jesus Christ Superstar.
Really? How many do you think it can win?
I think it's not going to win supporting actress, but it could win supporting actor. And John Legend isn't out of it. And I think we've got how many? Do you think
he'll take
directing?
Yeah. Being live, I think helps it tremendously with directing. Yeah. So that could. So you're thinking that could move maybe up to 7, get like maybe 2, maybe 1 acting and a directing win.
Directing win.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Zach, what are you thinking? Looking at the board, thinking through where next week is lined up. What are your thoughts?
Well, in terms of drama, I'm not sure that any show is going to sweep the way that we saw it do the last 3 years. I think that I'm with Riley. I think The Americans is probably going to win writing. Directing, I'm not so sure of. I could still see that going to Game of Thrones, but I don't know if there's I don't know which of their episodes is like the standout. So I don't know if that's going to hurt it. So maybe it loses there. Certainly, the acting categories are not have not favored it, as evidenced by last night. Yeah. I think that whatever show ends up winning, it is going to be a kind of a smaller number there. But I think I'm sticking with The Handmaid's Tale as of now. Comedy is also very tricky. I don't know which of the. I don't think either Atlanta or Mrs. Maisel is going to go on a winning streak. I think that we're going to see those awards get kind of divvied up, quite suspensefully. So those are my big takeaways.
It's almost like the year, and I think the dynamics of the race are different this year, but it reminds me a lot of when we had Transparent and Veep competing with Transparent's first season, and you had sort of them trading blows on Emmy night as to sort of like one directing and lead actor, the other one lead actress and writing, and
it was a nail biter.
Well, sorry, it was a nail biter. And you're going in, and I thought conventional wisdom would suggest Veep was going to win, which it did end up winning, and nothing really happened on the night to upset that theory that I had. But boy, when they were opening that envelope, you sort of could see it going either way. It was very exciting. And I feel like it could be, I
was just going to say also, I mean, I got to wonder if, maybe if The Crown has more kind of like down the middle support. If maybe since this Handmaid's Tale and Game of Thrones are pulling votes away from each other, theoretically speaking, maybe that could be your upset winner.
My head is, I think, to Handmaid's Tale will have the good night of the drama series in the drama categories. I think it'll probably win at least one acting. It will win writing or directing, and then probably take out series to get up to, I guess, what is it on 6 awards is maybe where it'll land. I think Game of Thrones might pick up maybe writing or directing and maybe move up one sort of thing. But yeah, I sort of agree. We'll see the well shared, and I think. Handmaid's Tale, Elizabeth Moss is in for a much bigger race than she had last year. I think Sandra Oh poses quite a big threat. I think with the Crown success last night, I wouldn't count out Claire Foy, even though it wasn't really the acting branches that weighed in on the Crown. So I do think, but the SAG win helps Claire Foy too. I think it's that lead actress race in a drama is really tight, but Elizabeth Moss still has a good chance of winning, and if that's the case, they could win. They could win 4 awards. Handmaid's Tale next week,
and we also have to consider Kerry Russell.
Yeah, Kerry Russell. Last season, the Americans could pull a Kyle Chandler did for the last season of Friday Night Lights.
And so Tatiana Maslany is the other defending champion in this race.
Yeah, it's really exciting this year. We've got 2 defending champions going against each other in series with Game of Thrones versus The Handmaid's Tale, but also lead actress in a drama with Tatiana Maslany and Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night.
It's exciting. Oh, it's exciting. Make sure you're wearing you're strapped in next week for the Primetime Emmy Awards, and the best place to follow them is Gold Derby, goldderby.com. We're going to have I believe a pre-web show since it's on NBC next week, and everyone's going to be wanting to watch the show live rather than us talk about it live. We're not going to have a show as it's happening, but we will have a pre-show before the Emmys. We'll have a post-show after the Emmys, and as the awards are unfolding, you can be following live blogs, be chatting in the forums, be tweeting us at Gold Derby, and the website is goldderby.com. And for all this week, the discussion will be continuing. Debates will be had. Opinions will be made. Hopefully everyone's respectful in all of that, as they usually are at Gold Derby. And I'm excited. So go to Gold Derby, hit up the forums, read our articles. We're going to have a lot of content being churned out this week. It's one of the biggest weeks of the year for us. So, yeah, there we go. The Emmys. This is how things stand heading into next week. I'm excited, guys.
Yeah.
Last thoughts from anyone?
It's certainly something to watch. I think I've given as many last thoughts as the audience would possibly want to hear from me.
I'm with Zach on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just say thanks to Chris for providing us with the winners, and also well done to Marcus on all those gifts on Twitter.
Amazing.
Yes.
Big thanks to the people that have been on the scene and sending us all the information and sending through their thoughts and commentary and stuff like that. Big night. We had a big night for Jesus Christ Superstar, taking out some EGOT winners. Jesus has had better nights, but he certainly had worse as well. So it was a good night.
I think there was one particularly bad night.
So good job, Jesus. You've pulled out a few wins, and good job. Saturday Night Live, the big winner of tonight with sitting on 7. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.